Hello, Facebook Live. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I am very privileged to have a fantastic guest on our webcast today, our Facebook Live. Stephen, why don't you introduce yourself? I'll let you do your introduction. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dan. My name is Stephen Wynands. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I'm licensed in Virginia, DC, and Maryland. And I'm also the co-founder and CEO of this company called Pure Reputation, where we're trying to raise the bar in real estate by increasing professionalism across the board.
Pure Reputation. That's awesome. I love what you guys are doing. That's why I wanted you to be on today. So tell us about Pure Reputation. What is it?
Yeah, excellent. Well, thanks for asking me, and thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate
Welcome.
it. Yeah, so Pure Reputation is, I guess, the easiest way to put it. I use some analogies, and my vision for this company is to be a part of every single real estate transaction in America. Similar to how, like, you're not going to buy a used car for $5,000 without checking the Carfax first, right? Well,
Yeah,
why?
absolutely.
Yeah. Why would you buy a house for $500,000 without making sure you're working with a good agent first? And so that's what Pure Reputation is. We're creating this metric that helps people understand these are real estate agents, but then these are great real estate agents that I should work with. So our agents meet a higher bar of service that's actually demonstrated quality of service rather than just lip service.
Got it. Got it. So, how long have you been in business for?
We started Pure Reputation back in about, I think, September 2017. So it actually hasn't been too long at all.
Okay. Well, you guys are doing fantastic in just a short period of time. Congratulations to that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
I think it really speaks to just like we're building exactly what the real estate industry wants and needs. It's at this time we're at like what 1.4 million NAR members. It's back at like an all-time high, and we all see that there's a need to improve, a need to get better. And how do we do that? Well, we've been talking about it for a long time, and really it all comes down to us, the agents, making things better, because we're the ones that are affected by it on a daily basis, the ones who have to do deals and make sure they get from start to finish. And so we're understanding now that it's up to us to raise the bar, and that's why we're having such great success, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that's exciting. So, Stephen, take us back to September 2017. Well, take us to August 2017. Like what were your thoughts at that point? What were you thinking? You share with me with us what your vision is. Yet, take us maybe even like 6 months prior to that. Like, what was the journey? What was your thought process? How did this evolve into a business for you?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I'll give you a little bit more background than most people even
Please.
know, so it's a fun little tidbit for anyone who's tuned
This is
in.
going to be a Trivial Pursuit for all of you. This is going to be like one of those cards you pull up. So go for it.
Yeah, so I came from a much different world. My background, my education is in computer engineering from Virginia Tech. I've been doing software my entire life. I'm a computer guy. And out of college, I went to Deloitte, Booz Allen, the big consulting firms, because I just love coding and programming and figuring out like big, complicated solutions, technology solutions to problems and making things better. Along the way, I ended up buying and selling my first house and thinking, man, I can do a lot better than this. I think people deserve more for what they're paying. And so I got into real estate personally because I wanted to do better for my friends and family. And then along the way there, I actually had a lot of real estate transactions, and I realized, there are maybe some people who aren't so great out there, but a lot of agents are working really hard to do a good job for their clients and to feed their families. And I really want to highlight that and lift them up. And in fact, what actually happened in like you were asking just a month or two before I started Pure Reputation, like July or August, somewhere around there, I had my own listing. I had a listing for sale, and an agent calls me and she says, Steve, hi, I just want to introduce myself. I'm going to put an offer in on your house. I'm a really honest, straightforward agent. I look forward to working with you, and I'm just a really honest person. We're going to have a great deal. And I questioned, like, why is this agent repeating to me how honest she is? So I decided to do a little bit of digging to protect my sellers. And so I found that this agent had a really strange, amazing pattern of getting homes for 10% under list price. And I thought, that is wild. But I didn't stop there. I called the last few agents that she worked with, and they all told me the same horror stories about her. They said like at every single corner she tries to grab concessions out of you. Even at one point, one agent said, "I found a walkthrough." The agent claimed, "Oh, do you hear that? I think there's some water dripping, and we're not gonna settle unless you give us more money. We're not gonna sell today." And the agents, like, we didn't work at the same brokerage. I'd never met them before. They have no idea who I am. I'm just calling them. And they said, you know what? I'm so glad that you called me so I could warn you about this. I wish there was an easier way I could warn other agents. And I said, you know what? I'm going to build it. And that's where we've come. That's where we are today.
That's awesome, man. That's fantastic. So you took a problem and you provided a solution. That's what I'm hearing you say. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what are your goals with your business?
Yeah, the number one thing that I'm out here for.
And I know, before you answer that, Stephen, you gave us your goals for every agent in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to backtrack that, when I asked that question, what are your goals 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now? Like, what's that journey look like for you? Excuse me for interrupting you.
Yeah, so I think we're fulfilling our journey right now by just getting the brand out there and growing it, getting it in front of the agents so that they understand what it is, that there's something that they could use to promote themselves to their clients. So first and foremost, it's all centered around the agent. We want to give them tools to help them get more business based on the quality of their work rather than just the quantity of their work. And so we're starting to see that now. We've been sending out emails recently to recognize the agents who have earned what we call this reputable agent status. And they're requesting stickers for it, putting it in their email signatures. And so we're really building up our brand to let people know this exists. And then eventually we're going to let consumers know, hey, this exists. And so that's where we are in the very near term, building the brand.
So to become a reputable agent, what would I have to do?
Yeah, so just do a good job. Just do what you're doing right now. Do a very good job. And what you can do right now is you can log into purereputation.com for free using your email. Go ahead and log in there, and you can start requesting feedback with agents that you've worked with to receive that recognition. That's it. You don't even have to pay for anything. If you can, of course, you get some better features, but I didn't want to make this a pay-to-play system because that would dilute everything that I'm doing.
All right, cool. So I love that you have a giver's heart, giver's gain heart. That's awesome. So let's talk about you. So that's talking about, the business. And I think your business plan I think what you're doing is just fabulous. And so Stephen, for you, have you had challenges in business? Has there been something that you've overcome that was a challenge?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge, which is most often the number one email I get, is how the heck did you get my information? And the biggest challenge is I would love to partner with MLSs, associations, to make sure we're getting the most accurate data. That would be the most helpful thing. But of course, MLSs in this day and age, they're very guarded. Because they want to make sure the data is well kept, private, and maintained in certain ways. And so what I've done is I've gone about creating a technical solution where I just reach out to publicly available information sources to get the data that I need, and we mark it out that way. And so the biggest challenge has been getting conversations with associations saying, yeah, we believe in what you're doing. We think this could make us better. We want to work with you to improve professionalism. That's been the number one challenge.
Okay. Let's go back to, because this will be useful for us real estate agents. So you see the data of the great agents and what they do, and you also see the data of the agents that aren't so great. So what are the commonalities that you see in the feedback of a great agent that could be useful to us?
Yeah, so just like you, Dan, when you're doing your job, you are keeping in touch often. You'll answer your phone, you'll respond to your phone calls, you'll respond to your texts, emails. Communication has been by far like the number one thing. And then just following through on your promises, not trying to pretend that you know what you don't know and then trying to get through the transaction. It's a co-op for a reason, right? We're going to work through, buyers and sellers agents, we're going to work through this transaction together to get our clients to the closing table. So communicate, get help where you need it, answer your phone. That's been it. Like, be respectful, positive, and professional.
What about on the flip side of that? What commonalities have you seen in agents that haven't gotten such great reviews?
Yeah, so a lot of them, so beyond the opposite of what I just said, they'll be really friendly up front, but once they go under contract, they'll disappear. I've seen instances where like, oh, we ratified a contract and they went missing for a month, and I
Hmm.
ended up having to pick up the pieces of the transaction, or else it never would have closed. It was delayed, but they were gone. Or,
Yeah,
we our code of ethics says we're supposed to have lots of integrity, do what we say. And sometimes, you'll get through a negotiation with, let's say, a listing agent, and they'll promise, yeah, I promise you that we're going to take care of um, these little problems, and it'll be fixed before we get to closing. Well, you show up to settlement, and your buyer's ready to move into a house because they've already got the truck loaded. The listing agent says, well, didn't do it, tough cookie. What's next?
yeah,
Because they think, there's no accountability for their actions, but now there is.
got it. What if an agent just has a bad transaction, like and they get a bad review, but they're a really great agent? I mean, I'm sure that can happen. What's how's that? What's the deal with that?
Yeah. So, a confession I have to make is I used to be a really, really big Yelper, and I loved Yelp because it was awesome seeing all the reviews, right? But the one thing I saw was, once a restaurant gets buried because you create an online army to trash a place, there's
Yeah,
really no way to recover, and I don't think that's fair. Real estate, you learn from every transaction. You can get better. You get, coaching like you have, Dan, to make people better. And you're not the same agent you are today as you were last week even, right?
yeah,
And
no way.
so part of what we do is we look at the whole picture, but if you receive a negative review, we have a time-based formula so that something that you did 9 months ago doesn't affect your score as negatively as something you did yesterday. And so we also only look at the body of work for the past year to reflect who you are today rather than 3 years ago, right? And furthermore, we're never going to show negative reviews publicly on your profile. We don't want to harm your ability as an agent to feed your family.
Well, that's great. That's great, and it's great that you took what Yelp is doing really great, yet you recognize the challenges in that model, and you've accommodated for it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
So horror stories. I'm just curious, right? So, and obviously, be very general in the way that you answer this, please. But can you think of a negative feedback that you got that was just something that was really bizarre, or just something that was like you just shook your head on and just like, oh my goodness?
At this point, I've seen enough of them with like so many lies that they all blur into one. But
Okay.
I can tell you, like, this is not all in vain. Like, this does go somewhere. For the brokers that really care, um, they have taken action. I've taken some of this negative feedback and showed one of the largest brokerage teams in America. I showed the team leader what was going on, and immediately afterwards, they had a closed door meeting about it. And since
Hmm.
then, that was over a year ago, I'm not really seeing so many negatives from them anymore. So it's really cool to see what happens when this information gets back to the owner who can take action on it.
So you're working with the owners and the brokers and the team leaders, et cetera, to be able to help them to improve their businesses and work with their agents to collectively improve everybody.
Yes, that's right.
All right, cool. So Steven, so let's finish up here. So two last questions. Well, maybe three last questions. What business lessons have you learned through the time that you could share with real estate agents that would be most useful besides the communication and the integrity, doing what you say you'll do by when you say you do it by? If you could make just one thing that, based off of your extensive, you have more experience in knowing the good and the bad and ugly with the real estate agents than probably anybody else. Maybe a few brokers may have same sort of experience, but what would you say? What would you say to an agent that's getting new into the business, an agent that's already succeeding? What would you say to them for them to be able to improve?
All right, so let's focus on quality over quantity. And I firmly believe, like, I really feel like when you pass the real estate exam, you're allowed to sell real estate, but you're not ready to. You really need to find a good mentor, a reputable mentor who knows the entire process and learn how it all works from them. It's a relationship business, and that's first and foremost. You're going to learn that. And so long as you take care of the customer, treat each other equally as professionals, and know that there's always something to learn and improve upon, you're going to be okay.
Got it. Got it. So be a professional and look for a mentor, look for somebody to guide you, and be a professional of the craft. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Now, completely off topic. You got any books that you're reading right now? Any books that you would recommend for somebody that's intending to grow themselves?
I sadly I don't because I've got a 3 and a 5-year-old and a real estate business and a real estate tech startup, and so when I can, I just try to sleep.
Okay, different question. What have you learned from your 3 and 5-year-old that would be useful to us?
Oh man, what do you learn? Well, I've actually taken upon the advice that everyone else has given me. Um, this time is really precious. It's short, so enjoy every bit of it. So what I've learned is, when you're in the middle of something, it might seem awful, but you know what? It's temporary, and you might miss it in the future. So don't get lost thinking about where you are now and how frustrated you are now. Focus on the goals, the outcomes, and know that everything's gonna be all right.
Oh man, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. All right, last question. How can someone get in touch with you?
Yes, you can email me at sw@peerreputation.com. And if you look me up, Stephen with a V, Wynands spelled Wynands, it should be really easy to find me because I think there's only one other Stephen Wynands in the world, and he might be in Germany.
All right, so you're the only American with that name. That's awesome, Stephen Wynham. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us today, and I look forward to seeing your success.
Thank you very much, Dan. You too.
All right, my pleasure.